Hi everyone. Look, I'm back when I said I would be. It's a Sunday miracle. How are all of you? My voice lives, so we can do voices. It's serious business. I'm back with my standard 2 drinks, so you know that we're going to try and go for a long time because it's getting very interesting. I'm super concerned that I'm setting poor Jack down a road to oblivion, but we'll see. We shall see. Woo. All right. Let's make sure. Have all the things set up the way they should be. Is all as it should be. I'm glad you've all arrived. Hello. Let me get to a point that should have sound so we can make sure that the sound is okay. My living nightmare of not having sound continues. So, during the day, I had a dream. A dream that I should have sound. Which I probably should. Let's see. Master. Oh, wow. Okay, we're doing this. We're already here. We're already doing this. All right. Father of secrets. Those words attached to a thinly smiling face stood out to me in the dark. I knew he was waiting. There we go. There's our car sound. The night sky flickered past outside my car window. Its stars almost invisible through all the light pollution. We're doing the Marcus route. It's happening. That's all that's happening. Aw, Tabby C. I'm glad you're able to make it this time. All right, let's do this. I was on my way to South Los Angeles, courtesy of Charice's driver. Today we're actually going to do the thing that she told us to do. Hooray! He never said a word, which was slightly unnerving, but the circumstances didn't really lend themselves to small talk. Yes, they did. Yes, they did. They always lend themselves to the small talk. Only a few days ago, Marcus and I had taken the same sedan to the Hollywood Heights Hotel. There's only one sedan at the Vampire Hotel. Nope, Michelle, it's Charice. They purposely spelled it out and said the pronunciation that she wanted quite angrily because she is a bossy queen vampire. And now here I was, riding it again, rolling out like a bowling ball from Charice's fingertips. Unlike my previous mission, I hadn't been given a lot to go on. All I knew was the description of Charice's agent, a Latina Ascari blood, gray suit with blue shirt, appearing in her mid-30s. She sounds great. I can't wait. She'd gone missing a few days ago, and even though Charice said the agent usually took lengthy vacations, I had a bad feeling about this. But not about all the people I drained in the alley. I am super concerned that we're on the dark path because I've just been giving in to the darkness. But you know what? That's what vampire life is. Creature of the night. Before long, the sedan pulled over to a seemingly random point on the street. Of course, the driver didn't say anything, but I could guess that this was my drop-off point. Wow. Okay, so Jack's not starting off the brightest today, but that's okay. All right. I left the car for the streets of South LA, wondering how exactly to start my search. By looking, Jack. By looking. Oh, we're back to the type of Jack that I know and appreciate. That's comforting. Asking around wouldn't be a bad idea, though most of the people passing by looked pretty unsavory. I could also try to track her down myself if there were any traces left of her scent. My best bet was probably to... Let's see. Look for any clues or signs of a struggle. Try to track her scent. Ask around for info about the agent. Go watch a movie. Okay, no. No, we're not gonna just give up that hard. We're gonna look. Okay, should we look for clues? Try to track her scent or ask around. No, we're not going to watch a movie. Let's look for clues. Let's save first before we make any life choices. The movie. All of you need to stop. I know she's probably gonna be at the movie now. I'm gonna look for clues. I decided to trust my intuition, even though my intuition wasn't exactly your regularly scheduled programming. No, it really isn't, but that's okay. As I close all the things. Now that the world was starting to reveal its secrets to me, maybe I'd get lucky and stumble on something useful. Let's use our psychic mind powers. Wandering through the streets, I searched for anything strange, both in the environment and in the sea of faces around me. It was hard to pick anything out, especially since everyone was starting to look strange in their own unique ways. The strangest ones of all were the people who made themselves look so pretty on the outside, because if I looked hard enough, I could see their beauty decaying by the second. Just as I was reaching the end of a block, I heard something, sensed something, felt something? TV static and the sound of an audience cheering or screaming. I couldn't really tell how I sensed it, but I knew it was there. It felt like it was buzzing inside my head, but also somewhere in the distance, calling out to me. I hurriedly followed the sound, weaving through pedestrians and ignoring stares, focusing only on that static siren song. Before I knew it, I'd ended up in an alley. But just as the sound was growing tantalizingly close, it abruptly cut off. Instead, I could feel something different in the air, the last traces of what felt like a vampire's presence. If that strange noise belonged to the agent, and this trail was hers, where could she have gone? To the movies. It was very much a dead end, except for the manhole leading to the sewers. If the agent was chasing someone or running from someone, it seemed like a perfect escape route. To the sewers! Knowing I had to be on the right track, I grabbed the manhole cover and easily yanked it off. A damp, smelly darkness yawned at me from below, but unfortunately, it seemed like the only way forward. Should have gone to the movies. After clambering down the ladder, I stepped off the bottom rung into murky, shallow water. A few rats started away, squeaking in terror like I'd barged into their private meeting. But I don't do that unless I have a knife, so I can run up wildly. That's the only way to disrupt meetings. I really hadn't come to LA expecting to splash around in the sewers, but life was just full of surprises. I cautiously made my way forward, trying to spot any sign of the agent. The stench of sewage was almost unbearable. It was bad enough as a human, but as a vampire, it felt like I was snorting a line of garbage. Ironically, just a few hours ago, I'd been lounging in my extravagant hotel suite. And now here I was, getting intimately acquainted with LA's waste. It's not really ironic, but that's all right, Jack. In the middle of all that filth and vermin, I pondered how this seriously wasn't worth it. I was doing what I had to do. A shit hike was good practice. I feel like I should make contemplative noises to fill the gap of my thinking. Bye, Yanto. It's, I don't know. I was just doing what I had to do. Sounds like I have no agency, but this, like, it wasn't worth it. I could take the metaphorical shit flinging, but this was just a step too far. If I was more loyal to Charice, maybe I'd feel okay about being a sewer rat, but I wasn't. The further I ventured into the sewers, the more uneasy I felt. My sharpened instincts jumped at every noise, every strange flicker of light, and yet nothing came out of the darkness. But it felt like something was watching me. A whole chat full of thirsty people. Maybe it was just the numerous rats. They seemed to be following me from a distance, probably wondering why I was invading their domain. Still, I had the distinct sense that another presence was nearby, although I couldn't pinpoint where. Then, over the awful smell of LA's various waste, I suddenly picked up a different scent. Blood. But it was strangely acrid, a warped version of the sweet smell I was used to. I followed the bitter scent down several tunnels, staying on high alert. Closer. It was so close now, and anticipation filled my empty gut. I rounded yet another corner, and then the smell stopped. It was strongest right here, but I couldn't see anything but water and floating garbage. Had I missed something? Just as I was about to turn around, my gaze fell on a ruined TV lying on a pile of clothes. It looked unnatural, out of place, and the water around it was a different color. But as I stared at the TV set, I slowly realized I wasn't looking at someone's discarded trash. The screen was torn out, but instead of exposed wires inside it, I saw a mangled head. That pile wasn't just clothes. It was a body. With a chill creeping up my spine, I slowly stepped closer, studying the corpse. When I recognized its features, my stomach clenched in dread. This was Charice's agent. At least from what I could tell, her body was completely mutilated. Someone had opened a hole in the bottom of a TV and stuck it over her head. I gotta know. Examine the body more closely. I need to know what happened. She looked like she'd been attacked by a wild animal. Huge chunks of flesh sliced off, bones sticking out, clothing torn into shreds. And more strangely, she was missing her eyes and ears. But judging from the precise cuts there, they'd been removed with almost surgical precision. As my eyes traveled down the massacred body, I spotted something on the ground by its side. It's a good thing we got closer. It was a small piece of oddly bright stationery, printed with almost mechanically perfect handwriting. It's always the same. Is this a vampire serial killer? This is getting deep. I'm actually getting like chills. I don't want to turn around. It's gonna be like right behind us or something. It must have been a note from the killer. Charice would definitely want to see this. I bent down to gingerly grab the paper, folding it up to stick in my pocket. At that moment, oh my god, I felt something on my shoulder. A cold grasp squeezing tightly. Whew. Who's there? Silence. Try to run. Turn and attack. I mean, ooh. My instinct is to save. Well, my first instinct is to save and then to turn and attack. I whirled around, ready to lunge forward and strike, but two hands instantly caught my wrists, twisting them painfully before pushing me back. As I stumbled a few feet away, I jerked my head up towards the figure. Uh-oh, I don't know who this is. Ready to eviscerate the unknown, are we now? How fascinating. Oh, Marcus, thank God. There stood Marcus, his pale eyes shining brightly. Phew, I'm glad it's just you, Marcus. Was that really necessary? How did you sneak up like that? And you scared the shit out of me. Oh. Oh my gosh. Was that really necessary? I mean, why? Why, of course it was. Everything I do is for some purpose or another, although many times I don't figure out that purpose until much later. Turning away from me slightly, Marcus lowered his gaze to the gory mass of flesh that was once Charice's agent. I saw a keen interest in his eyes, almost fascination, not the look you'd usually observe a mangled corpse with. I gather the Red Queen sent you here. She'll applaud your investigative skills, no doubt. Tell me, just what do you believe happened to this unfortunate soul? They wanted to make her television spectacle. She was hunting someone but became the prey. They cut out her eyes and ears. It wasn't just mindless killing. See no evil, hear no evil. See no evil, hear no evil. I think see no evil, hear no evil. Oh, what happened for you guys? Oh no! Are you all alive? Let me know when you can see me again so that we can pick see no evil, see no evil, see no evil, hear no evil. Nope. Oh no. Did Marcus destroy our stream? It's buffering. How dare he? Who does he think he is? All right then. Alrighty. We'll save. And then... Edo Faye did do this. That's a good point. Alright. Alright. Alright, let me know if you can see me again. I reset some things and we'll see. I mean, I'm not the most tech-savvy person in the universe, so we'll see if we can get ourselves up and running again. We back? We Gucci? We Gucci fam? Okay, perfect. So, we need to go with see no evil, hear no evil, I think. So I'm going see no evil, hear no evil, because her eyes and ears were gone. And that sounds clever. You're correct. Her eyes and ears are gone. Perhaps the culprit felt that being observed and listened to was a fearsome thing. Hands clasped behind his back, Marcus strolled towards the corpse, circling around it with an analytical light in his eyes. The bottom of his long coat swished in the discolored water, soaked and dripping, but he didn't seem to particularly mind. I suggest you tread very carefully around this matter, Jack. There's a sense of formless malice in the air, a festering, loathing that something created. Do not underestimate the wretched. Let's see, I'll find whoever did this and make sure they don't harm anyone else. It's Charice's problem, not mine. She just sent me to get the agent. Why are you here anyway? To investigate? Why is he here? I mean, I'm too intrigued to just be like, man, it's not my problem. But why are you here? Are you following me? Is that what's happening? In a certain sense of the word, yes. I'm not here on orders, merely scientific curiosity. As Marcus's calm drawl echoed off the walls, putting me slightly more at ease, despite what he said, my body seemed to suddenly remember the scent around me, making it difficult not to gag. It was the acrid smell of the agent's blood churning in my gut, even overpowering the scent of rotten flesh. As if sensing my thoughts, Marcus took a deep, long sniff of the air, his eyelids fluttering closed. We're gonna have a conversation. Let me move myself. If you're puzzled as to why the smell of her blood is so wretched, beyond the advanced state of decay, of course it's because of a rather curious phenomenon. He wandered back towards me, observing my face intently. To humankind, vampire blood is wonderful, intoxicating, a drug beyond any other. Let's see. In fact, it gives them certain temporary powers, usually a very weak form of the donor's own. But other vampires, another Night Stalker's blood is the most repellent taste on earth. Really? That's interesting. That's not normally the angle that people go with. Huh. I'll take that, though. That removes a lot of some of the fix that people were gonna write, though. A rare few of our kind can drink vampire blood without throwing it back up, but in most cases, we're all but toxic to each other. So, even if a vampire drinks another's blood, they don't get any powers. Oh, I was hoping it'd be a special bonding thing. I guess whoever killed the agent wasn't out for her blood then. I wanted it to be a special bonding thing. 'Cause I'm that person. Let's see. I wanted it to be a special bonding thing. Bonding? Whoa, he's shocked. We shocked him. That almost never happens. You appear to have a remarkably romanticized idea of the walking, talking corpses that we are, Jack. What's on the inside is, I'm sorry to say, often quite grotesque. A slightly sadistic chuckle rumbled from his chest, accompanied by a dim flicker of his eyes. Ah well, enough of such morbid trivialities. I should be crawling back to my shop, but before I do, I wanted to mention something that you may find important. Oh, what might that be? More sagely advice? Can't we just talk about kittens or something for once? Yeah, why is he surprised by first? Has he not read the chat? Three. Oh, let's just keep our flirting going with him. By that, you implying that kittens are not somehow important. Marcus eyed me severely. Now, despite what you may think, the number of vampires in Los Angeles is fairly low. Most of us all know each other, or at least each other's names. I'm really good friends with Randall for some reason. How did that happen? I need to know. And that's exactly why word about you will spread faster than the herpes in a game of spin the bottle. Wow. In fact, I have a mind to believe it's already spreading. Everything you do or say will get out somehow, so keep that locked up in your mind somewhere safe and sound. I guess I should try and keep a low profile then. Well, any publicity is good publicity, right? They can talk about me all they want, I don't care. Whoa, okay, calm down. Whoa. I should keep a low profile, like, I need to do things. You most certainly can, but I would suggest a different solution. Consider associating more with your fellow stalkers in the night, indeed as often as you can. Not just the vampires who share your beliefs either. A creature's corrupted when they hold in high esteem those who agree with them, rather than those who don't. That's a good point, actually. That was deep. It was so deep I slipped into a weird in-between accent thing. Make allies, or at least observe your enemies, because someone will always find a fantastic excuse to hate you, even if you make Jesus look like he wasn't trying hard enough. You can find our kind anywhere: the slaughtering house, the abattoir, to say the streets, the bar, the beach, the hotel. He gestured grandly in a half circle with one hand, as if using the surrounding filth to symbolize LA. And you know what my den of depravity is, of course. Then I'll start looking around for allies. Thanks, Marcus. Time to jumpstart my vampire social life. Feels like high school over again. I don't know, I have a hard time getting along with other people. Time to jumpstart. So it does. Who will be the prom region of Los Angeles? I'll wait the finale with bated breath. He exhaled a long, quiet sigh, smiling wistfully for some reason or another, but probably not from sympathy. But just as he turned to leave, Marcus paused, throwing a sudden glance back towards me. Ah, that's right. Why don't I pick you up tomorrow at the hotel? Maybe we'll have another sergeant in my shop. Well, yeah, okay. Sure, sounds good. I've thought of a further step for your unorthodox tutelage, assuming you're not too scarred from your first visit, of course. I'm not scarred by anything. What? I had a great time. Nothing can scar me. I'll be ready. Just don't make me arrange dildos again. What? I had a great time. Nothing can scar me. I'll be ready. I had a great time. Marvelous. I do love an enthusiastic worker. Keep up your splendid performance and you may end up a candidate for Employee of the Month. I'll let you imagine the prize. He raised 2 fingers to offer me a casual wave, eyes glinting behind his glasses. As Marcus disappeared around the corner, his presence rapidly faded, almost as if the darkness had just swallowed him up. There's a corpse at our feet. For all I knew, maybe it had. With the killer's note in my hand and the image of Charice's dead agent burned into my brain, I made my own exit. Back on the street, the driver had been patiently waiting for me. Of course he said nothing as I climbed into the sedan, even though I probably smelled like all of LA's bodily waste. So curious what would have happened if we'd gone any other way. Surely even he wondered sometimes if he was being paid enough for all this. The glimmering hotel lobby welcomed my return with warm lamplight. But the second I stepped inside, the desk clerk hastily motioned me over, offering me the telephone and a scribbled phone number. Apparently Charice was traveling and couldn't receive my report in person, so I had to ring up her hotel. Ugh, now I gotta call people? That's beyond the pale. All the other stuff, fine. But calling people? Pfft. Yes, Charice Locke speaking. Her voice crackled sharply at me, brisk as ever. Who is this? Your favorite little mistake. Ah, yes, I suppose using your name would have been too much effort? She sighed very audibly, almost like she was blowing directly into the receiver. I assume you found the agent then. Give me the details of your report. Okay, I'm ready. I'm ready to give an official report. Favorite little Jackcident. Tell her everything. Tell her most of the details, but leave out some. Ooh. I don't know. I feel like I shouldn't trust people. Oh, you're all torn too. Tell her everything. Okay, Artemis, the details are probably the note. The note is probably the detail. I feel like she should know, though. Like, I feel like... You can betray her. I don't know. This is like the deepest choice of life right now. It's like, this is too much. This is too much for a 9:30 p.m. choice. I'm gonna leave out some stuff. I described the agent's grisly corpse, but I didn't bother to mention the way I discovered her or the note. I figured it was the note. I see. After I finished, the line went silent for several long moments. It doesn't seem like an act of intimidation, but it's most peculiar to leave a body in the sewers regardless. Her halting words sounded a little wary, concern rippling through her voice. To be perfectly honest, this strikes me as the work of an independent rogue or a serial killer, rather than an assassin. Rather unnerving, to say the least. We should all be careful until the culprit's found. The price of my therapy bills is going to be even more unnerving. Well, she's dead and what's done is done. Whoa. Whoa. We should all be careful. I agree. It may be an isolated incident, but I would rather not lose any further associates to some unhinged killer. Charice pointedly cleared her throat, and just like that glided on to the next subject. Your timing, as always, is perfect. I recently received a message about a few problematic mortals. What, was she on Twitter? These past 2 nights, it would appear they've been searching for vampires, most likely as part of some supernatural tabloid publication. She let out a quiet, weary exhale that suggested this kind of thing wasn't new. Normally they wouldn't be anything but a mild nuisance, except these mortals are dangerously close to the Mavar hideout on the beach. Randall and his followers, animalistic and reckless as they are, might accidentally expose their true natures while the photographers are around. Oh, there's photographers amongst them. Therefore, to put this bluntly, I need you to drive these humans away. You are up to the task, I assume? Of course, I'll get right on it. Fine, I'll take care of them for you. Or okay, but why me? Well, we know why it's you, Jack. Fine, I'll take care of them for you. Of course, I'll get right on it. Woo! Super keen. I mean, I feel like we could use her approval after straight up lying to her. So, of course, I'll get right on that. Excellent. I expect swift and desirable results, as you've proved yourself quite capable of delivering. Feel free to employ whatever means necessary. Just ensure that Randall's street urchins don't show their faces on the nightly news. Very well. Unless there's further business, I'll leave you to your devices. That's all. Good night, Charice. Nope. Goodbye. Leaving me to my devices is a bad idea. I mean, it is. I've made nothing but completely unhinged, uncohesive choices this entire time. Jack has no cohesion. And I feel like in this game it was probably a bit more necessary. Ooh. I'm hurtling towards the bad ending. Hurtling. That's all. Good night. Good night, Jack. With that, the line clicked off, and my second mission for Charice came to an end. It seemed like this was going to be my new routine, at least until the war was over. So for better or worse, I'd have to settle into it. At the desk clerk's insistence, I changed into a bathrobe and let the staff wash my disgusting clothes. By the time I returned to my room, still swathed in a fluffy pink cotton, the sun's rays were beginning to loom dangerously on the horizon. Marcus had promised to meet me tomorrow, so I definitely need a good night's rest. There was no telling what kind of interesting surprises he had in store. Stop it. Calm down. Let's look at the soothing horse painting. Or you can't because I'm blocking it, but there's a soothing horse painting. Crawling under the covers, I curled up in comforting darkness. Soon sleep took me away, blocking out the painful sun. The end of another night in Hollywood. I glanced at the lobby's clock. Already 12:30. It felt like I'd been sitting here for ages. There was still no sign of Marcus anywhere. Maybe he'd forgotten about his promise to pick me up. Marcus would never forget anything that important. I'd waited for a phone call, then looked outside for him, and finally returned to the lobby's plush chairs to wait. Maybe I was better off doing something else? Is he gonna come pick me up, or do I have to go meet him? I mean, I can wait. He's not there though. I don't want to be that person. You think I should take action? Be assertive? An assertive Jack who leaves? Well, he's probably at his shop. No, I want to wait for him then. He said he'd come. My first load. Wow, my God. Oh, jeez. Okay. Ugh. I grabbed one of the lobby's magazines and flipped through it for a while. As I combed through the strange sordid lives of Hollywood's up-and-coming stars, another half hour passed. No sign of Marcus. Well, if there was nothing else to do, it made sense to finish Charice's next mission. Well, see, I feel good about myself for waiting. I was a good person. The beach wasn't too far, so I'd be back before the night was over, unless something unexpectedly bad happened, which didn't seem too far-fetched. Charice's car was parked idly outside the hotel, probably on standby. It was cheaper than a taxi and probably more reliable, so I slipped inside, hoping the driver was free. Hi, Marcus, you're in here, aren't you? A predictable silence greeted me after I sat down. Please be in here. Take me to the beach, please. Santa Monica by the beach. Step on it. Take me to the beach, please. Just silence. The beach, you say? Nah, I think I have a different destination in mind tonight. The unexpected sound of a voice made me jump. When I jerked my head up to glance in the rearview mirror. Hi, Marcus. A pair of glowing blue eyes gazed back at me. I was wondering when you'd turn up. The same goes for you, my friend. I thought perhaps you'd wandered into the toilet and gotten sucked in. Don't dilly-dally so long next time. But I was waiting for you. Excuses. He gave me a dangerously wide grin, drumming his fingers on the steering wheel. Now, are you ready to slay the spirit of gravity, Jack? Just sit back and relax. Let Sharon ferry you around. Wow, do they have a name? Yay! Let Sharon ferry you along. The next moment, Marcus reached for the ignition, and before I knew what was happening, we were driving the car. That's a nice angle, by the way. We took off like lightning, barreling down the street. More than a few cars honked at us, and I couldn't blame them. Marcus weaved between lanes and shot through a red light, never taking his foot off the gas pedal. Would you slow down? You're gonna get us killed. Maybe do 60 miles per hour when the limit's 30. We hang on to the armrest for dear life. Marcus rolled the windows down, turning the car into a wind tunnel, filling my ears with a deafening roar and buffeting my face. Each turn threw me around, slamming my shoulder into the door repeatedly. Right, left, right. I couldn't even tell what direction we were going anymore, except maybe to hell. Then, when I finally managed to glance at the road ahead, I saw we were rapidly approaching an old lady in the crosswalk. But instead of braking, Marcus only pressed the gas harder. Marcus, you're going to stop? 3 points? That's dark. Or nothing. 3 points is some dark death race stuff. In it to win it. 3 points. He liked that. The Reaper won't be swinging by until later. As Marcus yelled out the window to her, he swerved sharply, missing the woman by inches. The wheels screamed in protest, and my head hit the window hard, stunning me for several seconds. I could hear the birds circling my head. Tweet, tweet. Marcus, take your foot off the pedal. Oh God. Hey, faster, faster, or silence. This is a crazy ride, and we're in it to win it. Faster. Let's just do this. I do enjoy your enthusiasm, but let's take a moment of pause. Finally, we got onto a stretch of freeway where Marcus slowed to a slightly less crazy speed. For a short time, he actually kept the car straight. But I looked up to see his feet on the steering wheel, hands clasped casually behind his head. I'm starting to believe I missed my true purpose in life as a chauffeur. Lunged forward to take the wheel. Whose chauffeur exactly? The devil's? Not to alarm you, but a 14-wheeler is merging in front of us. I mean, whose chauffeur exactly? Oh, that sounds like downright poetry. The Devil's Chauffeur, coming soon to a theater near you. At precisely that moment, the truck in front of us blared its horn, causing Marcus's feet to jerk the wheel. We plummeted into another lane, heading straight for an exit curve, which Marcus drifted through at top speed. He's mastered his weird, psychic Golgotha vampire thing, clearly. It was hard to tell over the roaring wind, but I thought I heard sirens. As soon as we were back on the city street, my seatbelt abruptly snapped free, as if on cue. The next turn threw me in a sharp left, and I tumbled to the floor. But just when I managed to pull myself upright again, we lurched to a sudden stop, which almost sent me flying through the windshield. As I gradually recovered my senses, I heard a soft sigh of contentment, then the sound of a door clicking open. Come now, brother, this is no time for a catnap. I felt two bony hands grasping my arms, hauling me out of the back seat. When my feet found the pavement, I staggered upright, feeling like a pair of socks tossed around in a dryer. A glance around me revealed that we'd landed on a dark, empty street somewhere that looked vaguely familiar. Why, Jack, you look ever so slightly frazzled. I am slightly frazzled. I didn't scramble your organs too much back there, did I? Oh, I do apologize. The wicked glimmer in his eyes made it difficult to take his apology very seriously. I didn't expect an old, wise vampire to drive like that. That was amazing. We should do it again. And does Charice know we borrowed her car? We are frazzled and dazzled. Oh my god. Some of you are thirsty. There was a lot of thirst. Am I the only one reading one in a flirty way, or is it an angry way? I wish I knew the tone, because it could either be I didn't expect an old wise vampire to drive like that, or it could be I didn't expect an old wise vampire to drive like that. Shame. Shame. So that was amazing. Seems pretty neutral, I guess. Perhaps, but perhaps not. Most days I prefer new adventures to reliving the old. He shrugged, casually straightening his shirt collar. Now, I know the ride may have been a little bumpy, but it was a necessary measure to keep that Red Queen and her knights from following us around, or anyone else who might be watching you for that matter. For the truth, we are hunting as a shy beast, and we don't want to scare it away. Sliding his hands into his pockets, Marcus began to wander down the street, casually, leaving the abused sedan behind. I fell into step behind him, still slightly dazed from our eventful trip. For whatever reason, Marcus had driven us to a seemingly random spot, but I recognized some of the street signs, which meant we hadn't really gone far from Hollywood. Still, it felt so grim and remote that we could have been light years away from all that glamour and shine. I had the strange sense that we traveled to the bottom of the underworld, and now we were beginning to crawl back out of it. I imagine you're wondering just why I decided to take you out here. Marcus offered me a solemn murmur, pausing to glance at the skimpily clad woman who emerged from an alley stumbling past us. On most nights, I go for little sojourns around the city, taking in both the vampire and mortal masses. Sometimes I speak to them, other times I merely watch and listen. Both are equally essential, I have found. One can learn a great many things from Hollywood, provided one rips off the surface to understand the roots. I'm not sure I want to rip off the surface. You mean understanding the corruption beneath it all, the way it affects our society? You mean understanding the corruption beneath it all? No, that much is already apparent to anyone with a few brain cells to rub together. What I mean is something more difficult to understand, a thing by observing what isn't there, to compare how perceptions fit alongside reality. He waved a hand playfully over my eyes as if to banish some kind of illusion. Take myself, for example. Why, you'd be a fool to take most of my words seriously, let alone at the essence of truth. But inference, the fine art of reading between the lines, learning from lies as well as truths, that goes quite a long way, especially here in Hollywood. He lightly kicked a rock on the sidewalk, letting it bounce forward a few feet, then kicking it again when we finally caught up to it. However, the first thing we truly need to do is... Oh my. Trailing off suddenly, Marcus blinked a few times, adjusting his sunglasses. When I followed his gaze forward, I saw someone emerging from around the corner just ahead of us. A white-haired, slender figure hurrying down the street, his eyes darting around a little anxiously. Is it Heath? Is that Heath? Or should we call to him? Or should we should follow him, though. Is that Heath? Of course it is. How could you ever mistake that nervous skittering? It's his telltale demeanor. Oh, does Marcus not like Heath? Marcus glanced at me, sounding puzzled at my surprise. Then, cupping his hands to his mouth, he called out loudly to Heath, "Fine, be that guy." Where's the current flowing tonight, I do wonder. Oh, hi Heath. Whoa. Heath came to a sudden halt, swiveling abruptly to face us. His eyes were wide and defensive, like an animal ready to turn and bolt. I thought I sensed somebody. Heath's tense expression quickly warmed into a smile, his eyes drifting from Marcus to linger on me. I wasn't expecting to see you two here, especially not together. What a coincidence. Oh, don't stand beside each other, it means I have to move. I could say the same for you, Mr. Polaroid. Marcus's tone was a little cool, though not directly hostile. What are you doing out here, lost and alone, so far from the herd? Just business, like always. Heath idly fiddled with his cross pendant, rubbing it between his thumb and forefinger. Despite his smile, he seemed uncomfortable, maybe due to Marcus's unblinking stare. But maybe it's good we ran into each other. I've been meaning to talk to you, Jack. How are you doing? I haven't seen you in a few days, and I wanted to make sure you were getting on all right. I'm doing pretty well, actually. Not bad, just a little dazed. I spent last night in a sewer, and tonight I almost died. Life's peachy. I mean, I think I'm doing well. I don't know. I mean, they're all fine. All of these options are fine. I want to be salty to Heath, but also, like, I'm having a good time with Marcus, so I want to convey both things at the same time. Heath needs to wait his turn. I'm not doing bad. Days, did something happen? Oh my god. His eyes flicked towards Marcus, though, only for a split second. Oh, what do you think Marcus is doing, aside from showing me fun? Are you sure you're alright? Oh, come on. Like Marcus is that terrible. If you need to tell me anything, you know you can. Marcus is right there. Jack has just begun to discover his new life. Marcus interjected calmly, shifting a little closer to my side. His stance was oddly protective, looming over both Heath and me in different ways. Of course, such a thing is never easy, but you'd be committing a great injustice if you doubted his capabilities. Thank you. I don't doubt his capabilities, Marcus. Then you must doubt mine instead. Woof. Getting hostile. It's getting very hostile up in here. Silence. Yeah, back off. Marcus's accusation made Heath fall silent. The atmosphere grew oppressively tense. But it seemed to disturb Heath more than Marcus, who only watched me expectantly. I'm fine, Marcus, really. But thanks for asking. I trust, Marcus, you don't need to worry about me. So, how's everyone's night going? I trust Marcus, even though I really probably shouldn't. If you say so, then I believe you. Despite his words, Heath looked unconvinced, biting his lip in lingering concern. But if you ever need someone else to fall back on, you know I'm here. Whoa, to fall back on? That is desperately thirsty. Wow, he's like, I will take whatever you have to offer, please. You might have to slip away though, since I don't think Marcus will want to share his new protege. When Marcus's flat expression didn't shift an inch, Heath let out a soft sigh. Very well, I should be getting back to the hotel, I think. But if you two are going ahead on foot, you might want to be careful. When I was coming this way earlier, I passed a horrible fight. There were vampires, but I don't know which house they were from. His voice fell to a solemn, uneasy murmur, eyes shifting away from us hesitantly. Somewhere not far off, I heard the low rumblings of thunder filling the gap of silence. Oh no, I'm sure fangirl something that Heath has his own thing and he's like really cool, but just this route's all about Marcus. It's a little too late to turn back now, I'm afraid. Speaking up again, Marcus offered us a casual shrug. We're merely out for a short evening stroll, a celebration of our new journey together. But if something were to happen, well... I felt his hand lightly pat my head, more playful than patronizing. Probably. If anyone turns aggressive, Jack will protect us by making them so uncomfortable if they decide to just leave. Oi! Isn't that right, Jack? Nod slowly with a knowing smile. Wait, shouldn't you be protecting me? Of course. Of course. Oh, Heath didn't like that. Heath shot Marcus a long look, his brow knitted in concern. Please don't take it so lightly. I don't want to wake up to a report that you're both... Slowly trailing off, Heath lowered his head a little. I thought I glimpsed Marcus rolling his eyes for a split second, although I couldn't be sure. Before I forget, you came here from the hotel, didn't you? Was Charice's car still there when you left? She called me earlier and said it was gone. I wondered if there was some sort of sabotage attempt. How strange. We'll let you know if we see it. Well, actually... Nope, no idea. How strange. I mean, we'll let you know if we see it. Yes, of course. Marcus chimed in, nodding enthusiastically. By some great miracle, maybe the vehicle will frolic past our paths, wild and untamed. I'll have my lasso ready. As he spoke, I heard a car approaching us from down the street. Heath quickly glanced up, raising a hand to wave at it. Ah, there's a taxi. I'll take it back to the hotel, I think, but enjoy your night, you two. He seemed a little eager to leave, although he gave me a last long look as he turned away. Good night. I'll see you around, Heath. Wiggle my fingers unenthusiastically. Say nothing. Oh, you know me. Even though it takes me forever, I do all the routes because I'm that person and I need to know. And I'm really in... The thing with... yes, special. The thing with Argent Games is all of the routes are unique and different, and I really appreciate that. Like, they warrant different playthroughs. I'll see you around. I mean, there's no need to be mean to him. I hope so, Jack. Stepping down from the curb, Heath climbed gracefully into the parked taxi. I don't know, personally, I'm talking to the chat now. I love playing all the different routes. Like, it's so fun. Like, I don't know, and I like playing them with you because it's so much more fun than playing it by yourself. Like, we're on a journey together. A journey of thirst. Stepping down from the curb, Heath climbed gracefully into the parked taxi. It took off as soon as he closed the door, zooming down the empty street. Now I can move. Marcus watched the car intently as it drove away, his glowing gaze seemingly following it even after it turned out of sight. I really want to know more about how they know each other. Like, for me with these games, like, since I'm such a big shipper and like fanfic person, I like building the connections too, so it's fun to see it from all of the different angles. I know, right, Daydreamer Jim? Like, I'm always so terrible. I always get the worst endings. Just then, another low rumble of thunder echoed around us. Honestly, though, any ending can be a good ending depending upon how you spin it and how dark you are. And the next moment, something wet landed on my head. Okay, I need to pop out for like 2 seconds, but I'll be right back. Ponder. I want to hear your ships in the chat while I'm gone. So I'll be right back. Chat amongst yourselves for like 2 seconds. All right. Are we ready? Are we ready for vampires fighting each other? Ava, I wish I had a Marcus that looked like Heath. Droplets began to slowly fall by our feet, increasing one by one as they darkened the sidewalk. Also, just let me know my music volume again because I'm paranoid. I live in fear from that third stream. I know it was a bit too loud earlier. What remarkable timing. Marcus tilted his head, peering up at the sky. Something up there certainly has a sense of humor, wouldn't you agree? I'm not complaining. I love the rain. Let's go wait for it to blow over. We could use your coat for an umbrella. Oh, Rachel, me too. It's always normally the Louis one who's brooding and just like sitting in a cabin reading books. We could use your coat. I actually do love the rain, so why not? Let's inject ourselves into the character. I'm not complaining, I love the rain. My, what excellent taste, so do I. However, my hair gets frizzy something terrible out in the rain. I'm not of a mind to spend 3 hours combing it out tonight. I'll comb your hair, Marcus. As the rain began to pour down in earnest, Marcus sauntered? Did he saunter vaguely downward? Sauntered over to the nearby bus stop, ducking under its tiny roof. Without hesitation, he lowered himself onto the filthy, decrepit bench and languidly stretched out. Sit down beside him. Yes? Yes, please. There was a little space that Marcus wasn't taking up, although, like a cat, he apparently felt entitled to most of it. I sat down the empty spot, feeling the touch of icy metal seeping through my clothes. More thunder gently growled in the distance. We watched as the streets became steadily drenched, puddles splashing up whenever the occasional car rolled by. Some of the rain had fallen on Marcus before he'd gotten to shelter, though he didn't bother to wipe the droplets running down his face. A few wet strands of hair clung to his pallid cheeks, making them look like jet black veins or cracks on porcelain. Just think. If we hadn't encountered that little lost boy, we'd have already arrived at the place I wish to take you. Despite his remark, Marcus sounded more amused than annoyed, drumming his fingers lightly on his thigh. And now here we are, waiting for a bus that will never arrive. Thank you, Heath. You don't like Heath very much, do you? Where were you planning to take me? But I want to know the answer to both these questions. Don't make me decide like that. I want to know both the answers. I mean, why doesn't he like him? Yes, but also where were we going? Reload and do both. Live life on the edge. One, I want the drama. I'm curious. I really am. You don't like Heath very much, do you? I wouldn't describe my feelings in such simple terms. His expression sobered a little, and he thoughtfully stroked a finger along one eyebrow. True, I do loathe his nature, because he reminds me of what I myself once struggled with so acutely. I imagine that's why I can't help but feel a certain sympathy for him. Sympathy, mind you, not pity. I despise pity. And what is he struggling with exactly? Couldn't you help him somehow? You despise pity. Well, I mean, nobody... Who likes pity? Pity's the worst. What is he struggling with exactly? Tell me all the things, because this is a filthy gossip. Why, himself, of course. One of the hardest battles to emerge from as the victor. Marcus paused then, his nose wrinkling slightly. However, most abhorrently, smoked cigarettes. Be as flimsy a person as you like, but for heaven's sake, don't make the world stink more than it already does. I couldn't agree more. You sound pretty passionate about this. I like the smell of cigarettes. You sound pretty passionate about this. It's not the smell I mind, but rather that the smell lingers. It soaks into one's hair, skin, and clothes, and I abhor any scent that lingers too long, even the sweetest smells in the world. He took off his glasses. I can't handle that. Pulling off his slightly wet glasses, Marcus began wiping them on the hem of his shirt, revealing perfect eyeshadow and guy liner for the world to see. The glow of his eyes cast a faint pale blue sheen over his cheeks, cold and ghostly. That's woo. Oh. While we're stuck here, allow me to touch on a certain subject lingering in my mind. He turned his head, glancing at me where I sat beside him. As close as we were, his unblinking stare felt much more alien and intense. As you may have gathered for yourself, I'm not over fond of clarifying my intentions. However, there's one thing I feel the need to address. During your first and oh so fateful night, you will recall I instructed you not to trust a single soul. Of course, you just told Heath outright that you trusted me, so I gather my advice didn't quite sink in. But do you truly trust me? Oh God. Oh. This is obviously a really important choice. I mean, I can't help it sounds like really bad to me. Like, oh, I have no choice. Like, it's just happening. It's a force. I think I do. I think I do. I see. Thank you for your honesty. Pausing for a moment, he tapped his foot lightly against the pavement, lips pursed in thought. Let me approach this a little differently. Why do you think I've agreed to mentor, or shall we say accompany you? You thought it'd be interesting. Because you like me. You have a reason you're keeping secret. I have absolutely no idea. I mean... I don't know. This is hard. This is too hard. Because you like me is just pure thirst talking. You thought it'd be interesting. I do remember the call in his shop. You have a reason you're keeping secret. Something dark and dramatic, perhaps. The idea seemed to tickle Marcus, who immediately broke into a cruel grin. Like guilt or personal redemption, or maybe you think I felt responsible for you somehow. Why, that would be just downright uncreative of me. He clicked his tongue disapprovingly as if I'd offended his taste. Indeed, my true reasons are. Marcus paused, peering across the street with a raised brow. A small group was hurrying past us, one of them holding a limp woman in his arms. Is it bad that I want to go back and go full thirst and just be like, because you like me? That's so thirsty. Oh, okay. I have to live. Do it. You're all bad. You're all so bad. I think I have. I do. I'm doing it. Okay. Why do you think I agreed? Because you like me. Oh, it shows that I picked it. Okay. Because you like me? Oh, that is certainly part of it, yes. But it would be dishonest to say I find sheer affection reason enough to join you. With an amused smirk, Marcus gently shook his head. Indeed, my true reasons. I mean, but you do like me. You like me a little. You like me a little bit. Okay, let's see what's happening across the street. From their scents, I could tell they were vampires. And from the blood on their clothes, they'd probably just come from a fight. Uh-oh, it's one of those thugs. I recognize one of them, the same man from the parking garage. Uh-oh. When he glanced towards Marcus and me, he froze in place for a moment. Don't smile like that. Then, to my surprise, he struck his hand up and waved. Wave back. I'll wave back. I'm a friendly sort. Raising a hand, I offered him a wave back. He kept watching us as he walked, or at least he seemed to be watching us. When I looked at him more closely, though, I realized his gaze was fixed on Marcus. You know him, Marcus? What's up with them, I wonder? You know him? I imagine so. I do have some admirers, one might say. Oh good, he hasn't put his glasses back on. Please don't. Marcus, however, seemed more interested in the rest of the group. His eyes followed them down the street until finally they disappeared into a back alley. Well, returning to my monologue. He cleared his throat, finally returning his gaze to me. My true reasons for taking you as my companion are... well, they're quite selfish, really, yet at the same time, they may inadvertently benefit many others. I seek answers for myself, answers about my own true purpose and that of the world. For every problem I set before you, I too am wondering, searching, turning over stones in both the world and in my heart. So you're learning from me and vice versa. What answers could you possibly get from just watching me? I still don't understand what makes me special. We're learning together. We're a team. So you're learning from me and vice versa. I suppose you might say such a thing, though not in any traditional sense. I see it more as an awakening, or maybe an exhuming of our true natures. Falling briefly silent, he traced his tongue along one fang, probably deciding how best to phrase what he wanted to say. I see in you the potential for something great, for a life beyond just draining the veins of humankind. That potential might never be realized, but it is there. And such potential may save not only me, but all of us, yourself included. What kind of potential? That sounds like the start of a superhero comic. I think you might be overestimating me, Marcus. No, no, no. No humbleness. Jack's the best Jackcident to ever be. Just tell me all about my potential. What kind of potential? I'm afraid I have no answer for that yet. In fact, I may never have it. It may only come to you. A gentle rumble of thunder further away now punctuated Marcus's words. I brought up trust because I fear you might mistake me for someone selfless or altruistic, when in reality, I'm only acting in my own best interests. I'm not here to make you feel better about yourself, nor about the clownish world that surrounds us. He gazed soberly into my eyes with a wan, resigned smile tugging at his lips. I want to help you, not hinder you. I want to weigh down your spirit with questions and doubts to awaken that potential, not throw a blanket over its head. That comforting blanket of simple good and evil, of happy endings, a blanket made from your own shared wool. If that's what you hope for, I might redirect you to a library of Disney movies or hand you a Sunday school pamphlet instead. I don't think I really understand what you mean. I believe in right and wrong, and you won't change my mind about that. I have an open mind. I can deal with whatever you throw at me. I have an open mind. I can deal with whatever you throw at me. That's dangerous talk, brother. I have many things to throw. But a curious spirit may have arms big enough to hold them all. Marcus's voice was surprisingly gentle, maybe the softest I'd ever heard it. His eyes stayed on mine for several moments more, but eventually they strayed towards the wet asphalt. While we were talking, the rain had gradually slowed to a soft drizzle. A few puddles had formed on the sidewalk, glowing as they reflected the streetlights. Perhaps it's time to leave our sanctuary. With a lengthy sigh, Marcus rose to his feet, slipping his sunglasses back on. Then he cleared his throat with an air of finality, as if the subject of my potential was being shelved for now. Though I would never have intentionally timed our encounter to match the storm, I will say it conveniently allowed me to trap you in an enclosed space, subjecting you to all my blatherings. Can you actually see that far into the future? You're a devious man, Marcus. It was interesting, though of night I probably won't forget. Feel free to trap me in an enclosed space whenever you like. I can't not choose that option. I can't not choose it. Thirsty nature. Engaged. Well, I hear coffins are rather cozy. I myself have never understood the appeal. Too claustrophobic, you see. After letting out a loud snicker, Marcus shook his head ruefully. In a different universe, I might have dragged you off to my original destination right about now. Sadly, however, it seems the devil's come for his due. At first, I had no idea what Marcus was referring to. But when I turned around to search the street, I noticed a dark sedan slowly rolling towards us. It wasn't Charice's car, but it looked very similar, like one of the other cars parked outside the hotel. I'll let you do the talking. This is going to be a fun car ride, isn't it? Damn it, I bet Heath snitched on us. Really wish I knew where we were going through this dark park in the middle of the night. I'll let you do the talking. My remark didn't get any response. After a few moments, I glanced back towards Marcus, curious about his silence. Only to see that he had very conveniently disappeared. Who's calling me? Oh, hello. Why, hello. I looked back to see a familiar Ascari agent stepping out of the sedan, holding the door open for me. You're Jack, aren't you? Please get inside. We're heading back to the hotel. All right, I'm ready. How did you know where I was? Is Charice waiting in there with a paddle? I know some people in the chat would like that, but I need to know, how did you know where I was? Earlier tonight, we received a report of some dangerous Mavar activity in the area. I shouldn't have waved. I waved. This is what I get for waving. Another agent, Heath, called to say you were close to the location. You might be in danger. Heath. Ugh. While returning to the hotel, Heath. Ah. Wait, what about Marcus? No, I'm not going to tell anybody I was with Marcus. Okay. Climb into the car. After I crawled into the back seat, the agent nodded to his driver, who set off towards the hotel. Compared to Marcus's roller coaster, this ride practically felt like gliding on a cloud. It was a relief that I wasn't headed back to a lecture from Charice, even though she probably suspected Marcus was to blame. As I sank back against the plush leather seat, gazing out at the night sky, several words kept reaching out from my subconscious, circling in my mind. I see in you the potential for something great. That potential might never be realized, but it is there. Even Marcus didn't seem to fully understand what he was talking about, though he seemed convinced by it, but he couldn't follow through the thread of the weird choices that the person playing the game was making. There was no cohesive rhyme or reason to them. Whatever misadventures he had planned for us next, maybe some answers would finally start rising to the surface. But I had a feeling they wouldn't really be answers at all. All right. After a difficult struggle, I managed to raise my heavy eyelids. The first thing I felt was hunger stirring in my gut, gnawing me awake. Eventually, I rolled out of bed, fighting a sluggish feeling. Tonight, I had to take care of that job for Charice, but I needed to feed first. I'm in the hotel. Like, for me, the feeding choice is just convenience. Like, when we fed on the human, we were outside. We're in the hotel now, so we'll drink from the blood bag. It's just convenience. Grabbing a blood bag from the fridge, I downed it in a few gulps. It was about as satisfying as lukewarm coffee, but it saved the hunger. I pulled on my clothes and wandered outside where the familiar sedan was patiently waiting for me. This time, the real driver was in the seat. As soon as I closed the door, he took off towards Santa Monica, weaving through the hectic evening traffic. My mission seemed pretty straightforward, unlike the other night's sewer crawl. Once I found the humans, I just have to scare or coax them away by flailing my arms wildly. By any means necessary, Charice had said. I'm ready. After we pulled up by the pier, I hopped out of the car and made my way down to the beach, scanning the dunes for any mortals with cameras. Sure enough, I didn't have to search for very long. Marching down the shoreline was a group of young men hauling TV equipment, eagerly shouting and pointing at various innocent beachgoers. Their hungry camera lenses swiveled all around, just like a bunch of Zapruders looking for Kennedys. Charice said Randall's beach house was nearby, so I had to do something before they reached it. After I observed the men for a short while, I decided the best way to deal with them would be to... Oh my god, it's you. Suddenly a thrilled voice cried out from behind me. I turned to see a young man rushing forward through the sand. Oh! An uncomfortably familiar young man. It's him! I can't believe it. I never thought I'd see you again. But here you are, and here I am, just like it's destiny or something. Wow. It was the same mortal I'd fed on my second night. I'm really glad he's fine. You remember me. This is not the droid you're looking for. Oh no. You remember me? Yeah, of course. It's only been a few days. Why wouldn't I remember you? He seemed puzzled, head tilting to the side like a curious dog. This didn't make any sense. Hadn't Charice said that humans forget everything leading up to the bite? But this human scent wasn't like any other I'd smelled. Oh no. It was oddly sweet. Different from the salty sea air or the stench of unwashed mortals nearby. Was he special somehow? Oh, I should probably introduce myself, huh? My name's David. I work with this photo crew, part of a tabloid my dad owns. He gestured towards the group in the distance, looking slightly embarrassed. I convinced them to come out here at night to look for you, actually. To look for me? But you're not here for revenge, are you? That was a horrible idea. You're in a lot of danger. Get the hell out of here before something bad happens. Are you Luca's brother? Oh my god. Don't make me the vampire who does that to him. That was a horrible idea. Get the hell out of here before something bad happens. Huh? David blinked at me, looking startled by my sharp reply. Hey, listen. You don't have to worry about me. The other night, when I woke up in that alley, I had no idea what had happened. I thought someone mugged me or passed out or something else bad. But then it all came back to me. His gaze shined brightly as if my abandoning him in the alley was somehow the most romantic thing in the world. I don't really understand what you are or what you did to me, but after that night I can't stop thinking about you. How amazing it all was. There was a certain dazed dreaminess in his voice and eyes. Oh no. He looked at me like I was his hero. A rock star or a movie star, someone larger than life. Oh no, we did it by accident. We went too deep. We've created a minion, a follower. Oh no. Oh, now Luca's gonna have to kill me. Well, too bad, because that's not happening. Because me and not Bishop are taking him down. Are you saying you want me to do it again? You've got... David, go home. Are you saying you want me to do it to you again? Yes, yes, I want it more than anything. Maybe it was love at first sight, or maybe it's something more. I don't care. None of that matters. All I know is that I need to be with you. I need you to take what you want from me again. Or else, I don't know. I might go crazy. He was so full of passion, almost too innocent to be real, like a snowflake before it lands on the dirt. I could barely believe it, but he really did seem completely in love with me. Or if not with me, than with the sensations I'd given him. All right, I'll take you in. I can't, David. I'm sorry. It's too dangerous for you. You're an idiot. Leave before you get hurt. I know, crazy kitty. He's just strings. I feel like, okay, I'm like legit thinking about it. If we leave him, I feel like he's just gonna end up getting taken in by someone worse. But at the same time, I don't really want to... That's my question. That's my main question, Ava. Will one mess up our Marcus route? Not our problem. Let's see. I am going to take him for the sole reason I want to see all the connections we can have to the first Red Embrace. Because I find that to be the most interesting thing here. I'll take him. And then I'll do another playthrough where I don't take him. I'll take him. You will? You really? A feverish delight shone on his face. It was almost painfully honest, the way his body was so expressive. He probably couldn't lie even if he wanted to. Then please tell me, what should I call you? Just call me Jack. Just call me Jack. Jack? That's your name? I love it. He gave an eager nod, then fell silent, staring at me expectantly. All right, tell your crew to leave, and we'll head back together. Get rid of that beanie. Tell your crew to leave. That way we can do the Randall thing. Tell your crew to leave. Don't take any pictures of Randall's beach house. You got it. I'll let them know I won't be coming around for a while. I watched David as he turned to hurry over towards his hollering group, waving them down. Whatever he told them resulted in a lot of confused looks and grumbling, although I couldn't pick out the words from so far away. But he apparently convinced them to leave because they started to head back the way they came, their camera lights finally blinking out. And so our secrets as vampires survived another day. It's been 3 nights, and I'm a full-fledged vampire, yo, feeding on people on the streets. Vampire mortals transfixed at the feet, accidentally like a vampire noob. Yeah. With David safely in tow, I returned to the hotel. The clerk looked extremely uncomfortable, as they should, when he noticed my new companion. He informed me that due to health standards, David would have to stay in an adjoining room. David didn't seem ready to leave my side just yet, though, so I let him follow me into the hotel meeting room. Unlike the other night, Charice was already sitting there. This is gonna look great. Like, hey, I've fully embraced my vampire lifestyle. Meet my human. Oh, she's angry. As she should be. She was on the phone with someone, though, and she held up a finger to keep me quiet. Yes? Yes, I'll arrange it. No, it won't be here at the Hollywood Heights. What? No human baggage, thank you. I'm sure he can look after himself for a few days. Oh. Does she have one too? Well, then she can't judge. Yes, no, I really don't. Very well. Goodbye. She forcefully clamped down the receiver, letting out a disgruntled sigh. The idiot can't even deal with his own coven, as if my hands aren't full enough right now either. Everyone always needs something without fail. Rising to her feet, Charice strode over towards me, clearing her throat deliberately. Well, since you're back, Jack, I'll assume you took care of the problem. Hopefully no future mortals will. She trailed off. Her eyes focused sharply on David, particularly practically drilling holes onto his skull. He shrunk back behind me, as if hoping I'd serve as a barrier between him and Charice's death stare. In the chat, try not to spoil because I don't mind it, but I know that there are people who do. So let us just breathe and experience this world together as one. I'm turning into Marcus. Alright. I've taken in a human to feed from. I hope you don't mind. Charice, meet David. David, meet Charice. I think that's the perfect, like, hey. Hello. Aww. How charming. With a heavy, disgruntled sigh, Charice shook her head, though she seemed more puzzled than annoyed. That's a rather bizarre coincidence. It would seem you found yourself a Strix. She paused, peering at David over her glasses for a few moments before clarifying further. Strices? Strices? Strisses. Strices, the plural, are rare mortals with particularly appealing blood. Many of them can retain memories of being fed upon, unlike normal humans, and some of them may even remain conscious during it. But they also tend to have rather extreme reactions to being turned, so please deal with him carefully. I will. No need to worry. I'll be good. Charice nodded, although judging from the faint curl of her upper lip, she didn't really approve of David to begin with. Just so you're aware, I do not advocate taking live-in blood pets. Unless they're proclaimed dead or have no living relations or friends, they can often result in various issues sprouting up. But for the duration of your employment, I will permit it. Should I murder all his social circles then? David won't cause any problems, right, David? Thanks, I appreciate it. David won't cause any problems. Not until the game that's actually a sequel to this game that came first. Of course not. I should very much hope not. Just make sure you handle the logistics. She flicked a hand as if to dismiss the subject, finally shifting her needle-like stare away from David, who let out a quiet exhale of relief. He obviously had no idea what was going on, and I could feel him clutching the back of my jacket, looking for some kind of moral support. As I was saying, I assume you took care of the problem on the beach. It may have seemed like a trivial task, but in the encroaching digital age, hiding our presence from mortals is growing increasingly difficult. Someone is always watching. Alright, let's talk to Charice. Now, your next job involves further diplomacy, and fortunately for you, no sewers. As always, she coasted on to my next duties in her perpetually impatient tone. However, it does involve returning to a place that may be all too familiar. The abattoir, the same club where your sire visited you. The abattoir, that's what it was called? That's amazing. All right, what do I have to do? That's fine with me. It has a great aesthetic going on. Good, maybe I'll get a chance to find the guy who turned me. Good, I want to know who turned me. I don't think he'd be foolish enough to linger there, but if you do ever find him, please bring him back in one piece so I might gain a better understanding of his inner thoughts. Oh my god, it's probably Bishop or the serial killer. Just our luck, you know, like the worst person. But to return to what I was saying, the abattoir sees many rich and powerful clientele, both human and vampire, each looking to fulfill their own depraved desires. I'm sure you know how clubs are, with inhibitions lowered and desires heightened, information is always bound to flow freely. Because the abattoir is neutral ground, just like Heath's bar, all manner of vampires are frequent visitors. Thus, it is very important we learn about anything they might let slip. Nod silently. Doesn't that defeat the whole point of neutral ground? Don't tell me you're spending me on a spy mission. I know, David's just in the back. Seriously, though, I really feel like if we'd left him there with how he was I know I'm justifying it to myself, but he was trolling for vampires. Someone would have taken him in. He was just throwing himself out there for vampires to have. Doesn't that... No, it doesn't defeat the point of neutral ground. Nod. All right. All I need you to do is convince one of the club's managers, Alusha, to deliver regular reports to us. Alusha sounds hot. I heard she was the partner, the blood pet of a Mavar, so she's already aware of our political situation. I'm sure she and I can come to an agreement. If she's human, can we just use our powers to win her over? What if she's already delivering reports to the Mavar? Then remind her that the Ascari are better patrons, and we will remember who aided us and who stood against us when the war is over. However, keep in mind that Alusha is a very willful woman. She's highly capable for a mortal, very knowledgeable of our unique abilities. See, like your pets, your human pets can be more equal. It's just that he's so besotted. Maybe we can get him to be a bit less besotted, or maybe we just jacked up because we drank from him so aggressively. But I don't want to leave him just wandering the streets all addled like that. We should take him in, like how Eric has that girl that works at the club because she's so messed up from being glamored so many times. I doubt simple force would be effective, and the last thing we want is for her to end up working against us. Nor do we want her frightened by any peculiar behavior. Something to keep in mind, perhaps? But Jack can only do peculiar. Jack lives life on the peculiar edge, dancing on the edge of peculiarity. With a deep inhale, the only type of inhale that Charice knows, she drew herself up slightly, glancing towards the wall clock. It was a not-so-subtle hint that our meeting was about to end. I'd like you to deliver your report within the next few days, Jack. Can you not go on any weird car rides or sit in any bus shelters? That would be really great. Until then. Her eyes briefly raised over David, who I could feel trembling behind me. Do stay out of unnecessary trouble. Leaving me with those pointed words, she made a swift exit. That's your boss, I guess? David finally managed to break his silence after Charice left, shuffling out of my protective shadow. She's terrifying. Is it hard to work with her? She's not that bad, just a little stiff. You have no idea. She's actually really not that bad. She is just really uptight. She's not that bad, just a little stiff. Oh, well, I'll take your word for it, Jack. Stop agreeing with everything. Can I glamour you to stop agreeing with everything? He gazed at me rapturously. In his eyes, it seemed like I could do no wrong. That is too much pressure. I can't live up to that level of responsibility. So, what are you gonna do now? David's question made me stop and consider for a moment. Even though my task that night was over, there was still plenty of time until sunrise. Marcus's earlier advice resurfaced in my mind. Maybe now is a good time to start scoping out the other vampires in LA. Scoping. We should scope. I think scopage is the name of the game. We should go scope. Before I could go out, I had to make sure David was safely deposited in the hotel. He was incredibly reluctant to leave my side, but once I'd promised I'd see him again before long, he finally agreed to stay in his room. I slipped out of the hotel and into the cool night air. There were a few places I could visit tonight. I can go see any of them. I've got to stop being so thirsty about Marcus. Alright. Alright, I don't know who I want to see. I don't know who I want to see. Well, I do know who I want to see, but I don't know who would be the most narratively interesting to go see, I guess is the best way to put it. Alright. I know, I'm just pondering silently. Oh my god. Pondering the silentness. What I'm actually gonna do, since I'm so indecisive, and since for me it's 11 p.m. and I need to work tomorrow, I'm going to leave us here for now. I know, I'm sorry, disappoint, but I'll come back early in the week and then we will keep going because we are going to see this through and we're going to see it through fast. So thank you so much. I'm really enjoying streaming with all of you guys again, and I can't wait to see all of you again. All right, have the best night.